Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Can we hear each other well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So first, let me just turn this up. Okay, so first, I just want to apologize. I don't think we are going live on Facebook. I just put a YouTube link there, so people can watch us on YouTube.
Okay.
It works on YouTube. Okay, one of those technical issues, as I was saying about. Um, yeah, so I think we're good to start this episode of the I Love Veterinary Podcast. This is our second episode, and I'm really happy that you're a part of it, Melanie.
Thank
So,
you.
yes, thank you as well for supporting us and for being part of this, of this experience. Um, so first, I would like to thank everyone who is watching, your friends, our audience, and everyone who joined us today for this episode. Then I would like to give the word to you if you would like to introduce yourself to the audience, just so I don't miss out on anything important.
You're fine. So obviously my name is Melanie B, or Mel B. A lot of my coworkers call me that. Just kind of makes sense because, Spice Girls. But yeah, so I have been in the veterinary field since I was 19. I'm 25. So for 6 years, I started off just as your simple little pharmacy technician that obviously didn't know absolutely anything. And I kind of just worked my way up. And now I've been in RVT for about 2 years. And so, but yeah, I've done emergency, I've done general practice, and currently I am doing veterinary surgery. So I'm in the surgery department at my hospital.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So,
That's cool.
mhm.
So, yeah. So, can you tell us more about where did you study? You said you started without knowing anything and you started working.
Yeah. So I basically went from retail, like everybody
Mm-hmm.
does, or like food or whatever. And I decided I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and start something. I always wanted to work somewhere in the veterinary field, really. I just didn't know how to and basically get started. So the GP that I started at, basically, they kind of took a chance on me and we were like, we'll teach you everything you need to know. Like that was my homeland right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they were teaching me everything, and I'm really good friends with all of them still to this day. And I was there for about 4 years. And then I went to school. I went to Carrington College to become, obviously to get certified and everything, to get that special certificate to be able to take the VT&E. So I did that while I was still, working at this place. I started just as a pharmacy tech, learning, medications, what they do, and then just like rooming clients and stuff and taking like pets TPRs. And then once I started getting into school and doing a lot more like hands-on stuff, they put me towards the back as a tech assistant, and I was able to do that, improve my skills and everything. And then once the first time I took my VT&E, I actually failed. I missed it by like 2 points. So go figure. And obviously, I was like, great. So maybe this isn't something for me. And then I was like, no, this is really something that I really want to push forward for, because I never knew what an RVT was. So once I found out that being like, a veterinary nurse or, a registered veterinary technician, that was something I really wanted to strive for. So I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I was really ready for something different as well. So I was still in my general practice. And then I decided to, branch out, try something new, challenge myself and my skills. So that's when I decided to be in emergency. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was at my emergency clinic for like a few months, and then I took my VT&E again, and then I passed. So that really helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Carrington was, I have to say, like, Carrington was very beneficial. They teach a lot of hands-on things, and they have everything already set up for you. So whether or not, like for, your equine, your large animal, like avian, reptile, all that stuff, like they already have that all set up for you. So, which is nice. And yeah, the hands-on experience helped a lot too. Like, luckily it all just came naturally for me, and learning and everything like that too. So that helped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And so, why did you choose the path from general practice to emergency and now vet surgery?
So yeah, like I said, I was just kind of not done, but I wanted something more rather than your routine, like vaccine appointments, nail trim, anal glands, all that kind of stuff. I was ready for something new. Luckily, the GP I worked at, the doctor that, owned the clinic, she was very into like seeing emergency cases and things like that. So I was still able to see those and be a part of that and kind of learn there as well too. But I was just ready to move on, try something new, and just be able to challenge myself. And I knew that going into emergency, like it was going to be a challenge, and it always was a challenge for sure. So then I went into that, and then I was able to, the whole end goal for me, because I really do enjoy anesthesia and surgery, was to, at one point, once my hospital had a opening, to, step into that and be able to be full-time surgery. But, I was fine with working emergency. And I can say to this day, I'm still learning so many new things at my hospital, because you never know what's going to walk through those doors. And I mean, even if like I'm surgery department, like if there's downtime, I'll absolutely help emergency. Like if they need help with certain things, if they need to help triage, like I'll absolutely go do that. Because it's like, I'm the type of person where I need to stay busy. Otherwise, I just can't sit there and just not be busy. Like I'll always find something to do. And usually what will happen is, like I have never seen cases so crazy before, because like I like things that you would never imagine possible happen to a pet. I've seen in emergency, which is like I find fascinating, but it's also kind of like stressful and obviously sad and stuff like that too, because it's like the quality of life of the animal and everything is not that great, especially if they come in very critical. But having those patients that come in like totally bad, not like you don't think that in the slightest that they'll make it, like they can turn around and they can make it, and like that's what makes it worth it, especially in emergency. So, but again, it can be very stressful, and considering like everywhere in the vet field is short staffed, so it's hard to just keep piling on cases when there's only so many techs at the hospital. So, but other than that, I mean, now that I am in the surgery department, I just feel like a big weight has been lifted off my shoulder, even though like surgery can obviously be stressful as well too. I just like the rush and everything of the anesthesia, especially if a patient is like critical under anesthesia. Like if they need this surgery for like a life-threatening thing or anything like that. That's what I enjoy. So it's not only does our, because we're a specialty hospital as well too. So we do orthopedics, we do soft tissue, we do some neuro stuff, like obviously not like super neuro, like we'll do back surgeries or something like that too. But yeah, it's just to this day, like obviously I'm still learning a lot of new surgical things. Like, I mean, the other day I just finally was able to do my first fracture repair, even though it's like, ooh, a fracture repair. But yeah, ooh, so exciting. But compared to like a super critical patient where it's like a cholecystectomy or like a splenectomy, a hemoabdomen, that kind of stuff, where it's a lot more life-threatening. Like there's been times where I'm like, all right, like I'm just gonna have this patient on like 0.2% ISO and hopefully we'll do good. But it's just a lot of tinkering with anesthesia wise and things like that. So, but yeah, I still enjoy doing emergency, even though it can be very stressful, and especially too, like with the clients. There's the clients that get it, and then there's the clients that don't. So, I do get yelled at on a daily basis, and it has to be in one ear out the other. And I'm like, I'm sorry that your pet with an ear infection for like 4 weeks is waiting. I mean, I have a dog that got hit by a car in the back. That's critical. I think your ear infection can wait a couple hours, but
if it waited 4 weeks, it can wait a couple of more hours. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like I said, there's some clients that are just absolutely grateful and they get it, and then there's others that just don't. And I'm like, I mean, I can't control what comes through those doors, So
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. When we were on that subject, last episode we were talking to Dr. Lauren. She's also like teaching attitude of how to respond to clients and
Mm-hmm.
the with the colleagues as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you, do you do anything at your clinic? Like, do you go through some training about how to interact with clients, or do you just learn it by by working?
Kind of both. Actually, we've
Mhm.
been trying to do some more like client service or like customer service skills and things like that to be able to kind of
Mhm.
redirect and everything and trying to calm down clients and stuff like that. But if a client is just straight up yelling at me and there's no reasoning whatsoever, that's when I'm kind of just like, okay, dude, like you need to just relax. Like
Yeah.
you yelling at me is not going to fix what's happening. You
No.
know, like I tell people like I don't make the prices of this. I'm sorry, you know, you're in an emergency. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than regular like general practice. So I'm like, I
Mhm.
mean, you're more than welcome to go somewhere else if you're not satisfied with us. I mean, sure, but I'm like, the next place down the road might be a little bit more expensive than we are, you know. And the
Mhm.
thing is, too, what I really like about my place is we work very like hard to be able to work with the clients. Like I tell them
Mhm.
like, what is your specific like price range? Like what can I do to help you? And you know, maybe instead of just doing your full blood work panel, maybe we'll just do like an ISTAT Chem 8 or something like that instead. To just be able to give us a baseline of something to be able to help with and work with. So it's not like we're gonna leave the animal like hanging like, oh, like what's going on. Like we try to work with the clients
Yeah.
to be able to give them, you know, quality care and everything for their pet.
Yeah. That's good. That's good to
Yeah.
hear.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, you said that you enjoy vet surgery more. Like,
Hmm.
what makes it enjoyable? Like, can you share maybe some interesting vet case, or yeah, share what makes it enjoyable?
Yeah. So I've always liked the rush of anesthesia. I've just always liked monitoring it, and you know, I'm able to scrub in with the surgeon and you know, able to help him as well too. Our surgeons are great. So like, they're super kind. They're very educational. Like they'll totally like, you know, they're focused, but they'll still explain things to you if you have questions or anything like that. And I'm the type of anesthetic nurse or tech where like I over
Mm.
communicate with the surgeon. I'm like, hey, just to let you know, like the blood pressure is dropping a little bit. I'm giving a bolus just to let you know. And he's like, okay, cool. Just
Mhm.
if anything were to happen, just, you know, let me know. I'm like, okay. There was one cholecystectomy I was doing where the pet was doing absolutely fine, like doing great under anesthesia. And like usually when the gallbladder is removed, they start to tank.
Mhm.
And that wasn't the case. He was doing great even when the gallbladder was removed. And all of a sudden, like right when the surgeon was closing, he was just tanking hard. And I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna turn off everything. Like, and I was like, can I give something? He's like, you just hold on. And I was like, okay. So like we usually keep them on a fentanyl CRI as well too, because sometimes we like to keep the ISO lower than you know what
Mhm.
normal, like because everybody turns to the 2%, and I'm like, okay, like our dial has like a 1%, 0.8, 0.6, 0.4, all that kind of stuff too. So
Mhm.
there's been cases where like I've just turned off everything because they're just doing so bad, and I'm like, okay, this is how it's going to be.
Mhm.
um, the longest surgery I had was a 7-hour surgery. It was
Wow.
yeah. The dog was under anesthesia for 7 hours, and like the surgery was probably like about 5 or so. But it had a
Mhm.
perineal hernia, and it needed a cholepexy, a cystopexy, a neuter, and then once we were focusing on the hernia part of it, that's where it was huge. Like we didn't
Mhm.
expect it to be as bad as it was, so that's why it took a long time. And the surgeon was just in the suite, and he was just like, yeah, this is worse than I thought it was going to be. So
Mhm.
that was a very long surgery. And then I had a emergency thoracotomy. We had a like multi-poo thing come in that ate a skewer, kind of
Mhm.
relatable to the one, I don't know if you heard the one about in Maine, where it was the German Shepherd puppy that ate the skewer, and it was like this whole big
Okay.
ordeal thing. But kind of the same thing, but it was a multi-poo that ate a skewer. And the dad was super nice, though. He was great. He was like, I know this is going to cost me a hand and like arm and a leg. And he's like, just do it. And I was like, okay. So we basically had to, cut open the chest and everything. And we have a ventilator in our OR. And like, whenever like I explain how anesthesia works or how the ventilator works, I'm like, if you don't feel comfortable with it, it's a luxury. It's not a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to breathe for the patient, that's absolutely fine too. Because I was even scared of the vent because I was like, I don't know what to do. But now once I feel comfortable with it, it's so much easier to be able to monitor and keep things very smooth in the OR. But again, the way I like explain it is things where it's a luxury. It's not a necessity. So we had that dog on the vent, and I asked the surgeon, I was like, so if I took this dog off the vent, would the lungs collapse? He goes, yeah. And I was like, oh, great. So like no pressure at all then. So he had to remove the skewer, and, he had to flush out the chest cavity. And then we put a chest tube, and then now we had to work in the abdomen part because basically that skewer poked through the stomach, through the diaphragm into the thoracic cavity. So then that's why he had to clean that out and everything too. So that was a surgery where they came. This is when I was in doing emergency over the weekends, and that dog came in at like 11 o'clock at night, and I was supposed to get off at midnight. And I was like, I'll just stay and do the surgery. So yeah, I didn't get out until like maybe 4 a.m. or something because that was a pretty long surgery as well.
Yeah.
Too. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoy because it's like some of these cases that come in, you think that they'll be totally fine under anesthesia, like basic orthopedic surgeries, like a TPLO or something like that, at FHO. And you're like, oh yeah, they're young, they'll be fine. And then no, you're just like, okay, this is how it's going to be then. So, and like, again too, and then it's like some of the animals that come in and they're like super, super sick and they actually do really well under anesthesia. So I'm just like, okay, then I'm like, cause I always go in the OR thinking, okay, what's the worst case scenario that's going to happen? Like, what do I need to do if this is going to happen? Like, obviously we have our emergency crash drugs. We have other things as well in the OR to help prepare us. And it's like, if you don't know as well too, your surgeon's right there. He can help you as well.
Yeah.
So that's what's nice about it. And again, I'm the type of nurse where I over communicate everything. I was like, hey, the heart rate just dropped from like 60 to 50. And do you want me to be worried? And he goes, it's okay for right now, but just let me know if it gets to the 40s. So I was like, okay. So, but yeah, other than that, it's just, I like the excitement of the OR. I love being able to scrub in and everything as well too with the surgeon to help him. So those are, and I'll ask him questions, and it's just, yeah, like I said, our surgeons are pretty cool and very chill and super nice. So that makes the experience and just everything a lot more easier as well too. So.
Yeah. It sounds amazing. From what I understood, you believe that communication is really important in the OR. Do your colleagues do that as well? Like communicate with the?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're one big team. So if one person's struggling, we're all there to help each other. So, and I'm the type of person too, where I'm like, what do you need help with? What can I do? What can I do? And it's like, even if it's not my case in the OR, I'll check in on them and just peek my head and be like, you guys good? Do you need anything? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay. Just to make sure that everybody is good all around,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear that the team spirit is really good.
Oh yeah.
So one interesting question. We've all seen your Instagram videos and your TikTok videos. So can you tell us more about that? How did you start that? Why did you decide to start posting?
Yeah. So I never thought it would get as big as it did. And it's like, to this day, I'm still amazed how it's still like growing. But most of these stories that I do tell on TikTok are stories that are true. And, just some clients are just clueless to certain things. And I'm like, I'm just going to start like making these scenarios as like, this is what it's like working in veterinary medicine. Like, this is what we deal with on a daily basis. And it's like, these are things that I wish I could say to these clients. And I'm just like, cause they're just, like I said, they're just like lights on, nobody's home. But and then it's like I said, usually I would say around 98% of my stories are true. You know, the main one that is really big on my TikTok page is the one about the guy that did an at-home C-section on his bulldog, and I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, it was bad. One of my coworkers told me that story, and I was like, I'm gonna make this a story. And it was the guy was just clueless. And then I would say like 2% of them are just like scenarios that like these owners, like, okay, I posted one where the owner put a feminine product in the dog's butt to collect the diarrhea. But I was like thinking, because this dog came in with diarrhea and they put a diaper on the dog, and I was like, and these people were like Googling everything and like trying to figure out like, what can we do to like stop the diarrhea? And it's like, and then I was like, this person probably looked up something, was like, oh, I'm going to put a tampon in the dog's butt. And I was just like, I would just imagine that. Like, I could honestly imagine, because with how crazy and weird some clients and pet owners can be, it's just, I was like, probably somebody out there has done it. But yeah, it's like I said, these stories and things that this lady comes in and she's clueless that her dog has passed, and it's like, oh, it comes in because it has a broken like nail, and I'm looking at the dog, I'm like, your dog is dead. Do you know that? And she's just like, what? No, he's sleeping. He's fine. And I'm like, no, he's not. I mean, he's in internal sleep, but but it's just a lot of people are just clueless to these certain scenarios. And again, too, it's like, I'm telling these stories because, again, this is what we deal with all the time. And a lot of people just feel like veterinary is just, oh, it's just happy puppies, kittens. And I'm like, no, it is not. I'm like, I'm dealing with dogs that are like, dogs and cats dying left and right here and there. And I'm just like, it takes a toll on you. Like, it really does. Yeah. And but I mean, you have to be a very special person to wanting to work in this type of field, especially working in emergency, and all that kind of stuff. I'm very grateful still, obviously, to my hospital and everything that I know and I can do. And like, it's crazy. And I'm also like really thankful and grateful to all my TikTok followers and supporters. And like, literally, I will have some coworkers that are relief at my hospital. They come over and they're like, yeah, they love you on TikTok. like, yeah, that's my coworker. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And then it's like, I knew there's like so many people that are so sweet and so kind and just very supportive. And then like, because obviously it's the internet, like people are going to be mean, but I never thought I would get to like this part of the internet where it's like, I've grown immensely, and a lot more comments have come in here and there, and it's like, people can be mean. And it's just like, that's why I try really hard not to read the comments of any of the videos, honestly, because like, it's just some people in there, like, it's just most of the people are just arguing with each other as well too, with certain things. But again, there's some that are just super nice and kind, and then there's others that just blow it up out of proportion. And I'm like, you don't really need to do that, but okay. But yeah, it's.
So you, has any of your clients like came and asked you if it was them on the video that you posted about, or no? No?
No, luckily. My worst fear is when I go out and I get a pet or I triage a pet or something, and they'd be like, aren't you that one tech from TikTok? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's like one of my worst fears. And they're like, yeah, but I haven't had that yet, knock on wood. But yeah, and I'm just like I was telling you before as well too, all this, it's like, if I make a story, like I'm trying to do a lot more like educational type videos where it's like, I'm showing you what it's like behind the scenes and things. But if there's certain cases that are very specific and detailed, I usually make the video and it's like, I make it private. And then what I'll do is I'll send it to our, hospital manager, HR manager type of thing, and be like, hey, I want to make this a TikTok video. Are you okay with this? Because I don't want to step on any toes. Like, my hospital is like, as long as you don't show any of like our logo or who we are or anything like that, then that's absolutely fine as well too.
Mm-hmm.
But I always send it to them to get their approval. And if it's like a very specific type of case too, I always look at the like client registration form if these owners are okay with me or like okay with posting social content regarding their pet. But again,
Mm-hmm.
too, it's like if it's a very specific type of case, I would like to ask the owners as well too, like, hey, are you okay? I make TikTok videos about veterinary medicine. I'm trying to implement more educational stuff. Are you okay with me posting this or making this? Obviously, your pets won't be in it or anything,
Mm-hmm.
or like your name or your pet's name or anything won't be in it. But it's like, and they'll mostly likely say yes. And then again,
Yeah.
I'll make the video and then I'll send it to my HR manager before posting it because again, I'm not trying to make anyone mad or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it all, I would say, like easier process for
Yeah,
everybody
exactly.
and make
It's
it
always
professional.
better. Of course, it's always
Yeah.
better to ask before,
Mm-hmm.
the hospital manager or the pet owners,
Mm-hmm.
just so you don't get in any trouble or make
Oh
someone
yeah.
mad. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I advise that as well. Yeah, so I almost forgot. The Vet Tech Week is coming. Are you doing anything special at your clinic for Vet Tech Week?
Oh, our manager goes like all out. Like she gets us gifts. She gets us like obviously like last year for Vet Tech Week, we rented a whole like massage chair and we had that
Okay.
to go in like in the break room or whatever. And we just would relax in the massage
Nice. That
chair.
sounds very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And then they like obviously buy us like dinner and lunch and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, yeah, she goes all out and she gets us like really nice gifts. And I believe that she actually bought us some stuff off of I Love Veterinary as well too. Like,
Wow.
yeah. So
That's very
she
cool
got,
to hear.
yeah. So and like this week we are doing CSR, or last week we did CSR week. So that way our receptionists can get obviously the love they deserve too, because
Yes,
they're the things that they deal with every day. I could never. Nope.
exactly.
I'm like, I'll just be in the back. So I literally any like receptionist or CSR anywhere in any vet practice or emergency, I give you kudos or props because the amount of stuff you deal with and the amount of times you like get yelled at, I could never.
Yeah, I can
So
imagine being a receptionist and yeah,
yeah.
dealing with the owners firsthand. It's very
Oh yeah.
difficult. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So a massage chair is a very nice idea. Like I haven't heard that one before, but yeah, it sounds
It
like a
was
very
nice.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, some girls would be taking some naps on their lunches in that massage chair. It was nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah, we know we are all busy in this profession. So what do you do as a busy person? Like to loosen up or to do any hobbies or what are your interests?
yeah, so I really enjoy, I'm a very active person. I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy like working out, obviously lifting like heavy weights and stuff like that. And it's funny too, because whenever like there's a big dog that comes in and that can't like walk, or it's a down dog or something that's like a German Shepherd that's like 80 pounds or something, I'll literally scoop them up and carry them by myself. And they're like, you got it? And I was like, it's okay. I work out for a reason for this. So
Yeah.
I'll do that. And some clients are like, oh, that's actually pretty funny. And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, so I do that a lot. I love to stay active. I played softball my entire life. So I do play slow pitch softball and I have made some great friends while doing that as
Mm-hmm.
well. So we're all like one big family, hanging out wise. And I've been recently trying to travel a little bit more too, here
Mm-hmm.
and there. Like next week, I'm going to be in the Reno a Wild West conference. So I'll be up there
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So that'll be fun. I've been to Reno, obviously, plenty of times as well too. But this is my first ever veterinary conference, so I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
excited.
Must be
And
exciting, yes.
yeah, I'll be at the Vegas one in February, so that'll be fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I've made like so many like friends off of TikTok. A lot of people um, probably know Peter, Vet Tech Peter. He
Mm-hmm.
actually like doesn't live that far from me. So we've hung out in
Mm-hmm.
person like a couple times here and there too. So he's a great guy. He's super awesome. So we'll be in Vegas, and like we'll probably be budding up in Vegas, which is
Mm-hmm.
really cool. I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, you're probably gonna meet a lot of like really big like TikTok people. I was like, okay, I'll just I'm like, okay, I'll just be in my corner while all you famous ones are like doing stuff. And then and then I went to Colorado to visit some friends, and it's like, I'm just trying to travel more, explore. Like, I really love going hiking a lot too. I love the mountains. I love the beaches and everything too. And luckily California has like all of that, which is nice.
Yeah.
So, and I live in a obviously more convenient area as well too, where literally I could go to the mountains in like an hour, or go to the beach all within like an hour of where I am. So that's what's nice.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah. Lastly, would you like to say how can people find you on social media? What's your handles on TikTok and Instagram?
What's your handle? I love that. I mean, obviously it's so a lot of people are like, how do you pronounce it? And it's called Melanade, kind of like lemonade, but Melanade. So it's my name, MELA. See, I have to even like spell it because it's like really weird how I do it. It's MELAND and then the 3 E's. So that's what my Instagram and my TikTok is. But yeah, it's like lemonade, but it's Melanade. So
yeah, that's fun. How did you come up with that? Or just because of lemonade?
Dude in middle school called me that, and I was like, I like that. I'm just gonna stick with that for like the rest of my life, probably. And that's what I did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just check if we have any questions or comments from the live viewers.
Like, I'm ready.
No one so far. So yeah, I think we can wrap this up right here. It's already been more than half an hour, which I think it was very interesting chat with you.
Well, thank you.
Learned a lot about veterinary surgery and emergency.
Thank you. Yeah, it was my pleasure being on here. Like, again, thank you so much for inviting me to this, because it was like, oh my gosh, I got invited to a podcast. So it was very, very interesting and very grateful. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you as well. We're really happy that you were part of this episode. And yeah, probably sometime in the future, we'll have you as a guest again.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I would love that.
Yeah, it was really nice chatting with you. So yeah, take care. And yeah, that would be all for today.
Okay. All right. Thank you again, Kika.
Bye-bye.
Bye.